Hey everybody, this is the Reboot coming at you once again without our leader Jim Gast, and we have the hang of this program inside and out.
We hope anyway.
We do. Reboot, we are a group of small business owners that discuss topics that are relevant in pretty much all aspects of business and try to get ourselves and the viewers in tune with how to possibly reevaluate how you're doing something and maybe make some changes that are going to help you streamline your business. With that, I'm Brian Bratcher with B&L PC Solutions in Long Island in New York, and I'm joined by two good friends of mine, and they're going to introduce themselves now.
All right, we moved positions, so now I'm first.
Oh yeah.
So I'm Ryan Heisler with Computeries in St. Louis and Chicago.
All right, so I should go now?
Yeah,
no,
you're up.
Are we live? No, I'm just kidding. My name's Dave Groot. I'm with WinStar Technologies in Culver, Virginia.
Awesome.
And if you knew what it took for us to get here today with you'd be amazed.
Absolutely.
That's why we need Jim.
We do. I mean, we take it for granted, but we do need Jim. Today's topic is
hacks to keep client commitments.
Yes, and we don't. So I look at commitments as also that can be intertwined with expectations. So keeping commitments also falls in line with expectations. We don't want to fail our customers or prospects for that matter. And we need to kind of discuss what does that mean? What does that entail? Like, so I'll give an example that, what we do is, commitment could be something as simple as keeping an appointment, right? So, that could be with a prospect, with a customer. So what we, and that has been challenging for us, and we've fallen victim to not being, able to keep commitments. And so what we've done is we've enabled the client or prospect to go ahead and schedule their time with us. So, it could be for not for service call, but for a meeting to discuss a new product or a service or a problem that they're having. They go right on our calendar, pick the time slot, gets booked. They get emailed right away. Let's say they scheduled it for 3 days out. They get a subsequent email, maybe a day before, a reminder, and then that morning of a reminder. It all looks like it's coming from us, but it makes us look that much more efficient. And the reality is I just have a note on my calendar to go and to talk to this client at such and such time. But that really can help you, be locked in on your commitments. You guys have anything?
I think, as you say, it's about expectations. What's the interpretation? Are we meeting the commitment, or does the client think we're meeting the commitment? And certainly appointments is a big, come to mind first thing. But I think it's more about making sure that A, the communication is there so that everybody is on the same page, and then B, don't overextend, right? Don't overcommit. Make sure that you can deliver what it is that you're saying you're going to deliver when you say you're going to deliver, and how, and for the same cost. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big, and that just comes from, like you say, we use our CRM package, right, for the scheduling and the tracking of our time, but it's also, the project quotes and all the, so that everybody on the team kind of knows what's involved with that particular project or that particular conversation. And we can make sure that promises made in the sales process are delivered in the execution of the actual service itself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think my sort of take on commitments, like client commitments, is like a combination of both of those things that you guys said, like time commitments, but also commitments of what we said we would do, and also commitments to, we're kind of what we are, professional services, right? So clients expect us to kind of have their back, right? And whether we formally made that kind of commitment or they just sort of inferred that we have that sort of a commitment to them, right? That we're taking care of them and telling them when they need to do things to keep themselves working or safe. and that commitment to generally be available to them, right? There's a lot I don't know. I think there's a lot of unwritten commitment that we kind of make, right? We infer that, hey, we're going to be there for you. So that sort of brings a lot of other things that we kind of become responsible for that aren't things that we necessarily, they're not things that we necessarily spoke to them and said, we will do this particular thing, right? But it's just part of what they expected and what we should deliver to them, right? So those like unwritten things too, and making sure that we always go above and beyond what we actually said to the things that weren't written necessarily, but are sort of inferred and implied that we're going to do.
Yeah, I think we all try to, and just to be a little redundant, but the expectation portion of it is, when they, when the client signs with us, I mean, they're all in their little world, right? They trust us for everything, right? Depending on the level of service that you're providing. Aside from any SLAs or any project work, one of the things we do is we kind of tell them, I think most of the time is we handle everything. We'll tell you what we don't handle, or what's not included, right? So, but aside from that, things from we take on their domain expiration. It's something that they may have no clue about. It may not be something that we registered or we support, but we do let them know 3 months out, 2 months out, 1 month out, your domain is expiring. It's up for renewal, and take care of it. Walk them through that process. All their licensing for all their products, renewals on their firewall for services, stuff like that, which is all so that's where the commitment portion of it is. We're committed to making sure that your business continues to operate and function without any hiccups, because we're going to get blamed for it, right? So it's like we don't want to, when we and committed it's a strong word, and so to be committed, you got to be all in, and you have to have the tools, which we do, to be able to facilitate all their licensing, and it's a big undertaking for us. And I don't think a lot of the clients realize just how much it takes on our end, but with the right tools in place, I mean, we can ensure that we are as committed as we can be. Maybe stuff falls through or gets missed, and it falls back on the client, but maybe 3 emails wasn't enough to send something or a reminder for something, and that happens. It still does. But I'd rather be in that position than, oops, we forgot about it and have it fall on us.
It further, defines the need though for that extended communication, right? In the agreement, it has to be discussed what is covered, what isn't covered in the technology reviews, because what I found, and I'm sure you have too, is while we're committed to providing the best service and the best security and the best things that we can for our clients, there is quite often a time where their expectation is that we're doing something that we're not, because they chose not to take on a particular service or to not follow the advice that was given.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so, I know I've already said this and everything else, but it seems like, the biggest issue is to make sure that there's a clearly defined what is the commitment, right? And I know that it's hard to incorporate everything, and we all try and go above and beyond, but that comes down to process. Your quoting process, your agreements, your meetings, your reviews, your sitting down, how are things going kind of conversation. And then also it's important for us to stay current and know what the latest threats are and the different things that they're expecting we're doing for them, so that it can be presented.
Yeah.
Yeah, and part of what I was saying, when I said the unwritten things, is that that there are expectations that people have, and so you try to be clear about them, but some things they get a little gray, because they're in an area where we really don't technically, we're not obligated to do that, because that's not in what we specifically said we would do, but it's sort of a gray area that's not really well definable, and so a lot of times we end up doing it anyway, just because we want to again try to keep that commitment. That's kind of what I was alluding to. Mm-hmm. But yeah, setting expectations is the best thing that we could try to do, so that we all know what our commitments actually are. But sometimes that doesn't always work, and so I think part of the commitment is that if we didn't specifically say it enough that we didn't all understand, then if I can do it for you, then I probably will, because I want to try to keep that commitment, so to speak. But then maybe I need to maybe define it better next time.
Yeah, you learn from it, right? Like anything else. And then maybe for the next prospect or job that you quote out, you clearly define this is part of the scope, or we don't, if this is falls outside the realm of what we do or what we specialize in, we can help you with it. We can outsource it. We can offer some alternatives, just to show that you are committed, but yet that there's things that, listen, we can't do everything, right? I mean, I know IT companies that we do nothing that they do. We don't like, people that specialize in point of sale. I mean, they're gurus with Aloha and all these point of sale systems and Counterpoint. And it's like, we don't get granular with that stuff. We just don't. But yet, we have a client that uses that product. They have a team that supports them. So we work with them. We kind of coexist and support the client. But I mean, they can have a specific problem related to that in this example, that's that point of sale system, very explicit, and they call us, and it's like, well, you know what, we really, company XYZ really handles that. Yeah, but they only do email support.
Right.
So it's great that they're comfortable enough and they know that they can call us for whatever they want, but and we may not be able to help, but it just, and sometimes again, and you have to define the boundaries of where, don't give me a negative review or put something against me, because we've been doing everything else great. And then this one area that we don't support, give us a ding on. It's just not fair to us.
Yep. And a lot of times clients will call because they know that we're easier to reach than the other support, right?
Yep.
Even if it's not,
push that, right? We all push that,
right? It's not our problem, and we definitely know it's not our problem, meaning that it's not our thing that we're supposed to be supporting. The client probably knows it, but they also know that we're easier to reach, so they'll call us before they call the others, and try to help them. But sometimes that's not part of that's sort of that gray area where, well, you really need to call the other provider, but they don't want to call them first because they know that we're easier to call.
Exactly. And listen, as IT people, we love to wear our capes and be the heroes and just be able to solve everything. Oh yeah, we got this. We got, and we do. We definitely do some things that fall outside our immediate comfort zone, maybe, and maybe not some more. I'm not doing a lot of the tech stuff, but it's still, we get that. I hear calls come in and it's like, I know this isn't you guys, but it's like, as long as you've identified it and that, okay. How can we try and help you?
It seems that, and this is a broad statement, but when we're talking about other folks who might be watching this, right? We're certainly coming from a perspective of the IT service industry, and that's what we have experience in. But it makes you start to think. I'm listening to everything we're saying here, and I heard a comment. I think it was Brian who said it. Brian with a B. But make sure if it, like, we will tell you when we're not doing it, right? Well, on some level, I think the hack there is to go the opposite direction. And the reason I say that is because we're one of the few industries where people generally start, like, do you expect that your attorney who you hired to close a real estate deal is taking care of your child support case at the same time? Like, do you go to your mechanic to get an oil change and expect that he's going to tell you that the block is going to crack in 3 months? Do you go to a doctor's office to have a procedure done, and while they're at it, they shine up your teeth? Like, I mean, we don't have an expectation of any of those services doing anything aside from what it is we are there to purchase and procure, right? Like, hey, you got a bad back, we're going to fix your spine, here's the thing that we're going to do. I don't expect knee surgery when I'm done. Like, and so it seems that those industries, which are obviously, historically much older and they've got it straight, right? They're laying out what it is they will do, not what it is they won't do. And so that's just a hack. I didn't mean to
with our industry, it is, you're right, is that it's very, in the eyes of the in the eyes of our clients, it's very much just one industry, right? It's IT. And if you do IT, then you do all IT. Right. You're a programmer and a hardware person and a networking guy, and you write, you do backups and you do phones. And a lot of that is true. We do all those things,
Sure.
but maybe some of it's our fault too, because we do a lot of things. So people just naturally assume, basically anything that touches their computers or has anything to do with electronics, they think that's an IT thing. And in a lot of cases, like in larger companies, that's what IT does, is they do cell phone management, for their cell phone plans.
Sure, it branches down below the. Yeah.
It's a technology thing. And so maybe that's where some of it comes from. But one of the things that I thought about commitments to customers was, on our industry, again, so security is a big thing, obviously. And so if you're a doctor, though, like you're a back surgeon or you're a dermatologist or you're a whatever doctor, your commitment and all of our commitment to our customers or clients is that we advise them on the proper thing that they should be doing or buying, right? Even if you're a dentist, right, you might need to say, hey, that tooth is going to need to be filled, or you have a cavity. So you have sort of an obligation to be the advisor because you're the expert. And if someone comes to you and they want to do the wrong thing or they don't want to listen to you, then you need to give them the advice that's going to be the correct advice, whether or not they choose to listen to you, right? And if they don't choose to listen to you, maybe they're not your client or your ideal client. And maybe you need to just, walk away from that. Because I think part of the commitment is that we, especially in IT, we have an obligation for security and making sure that our clients do things. I literally, right before this, I got an email from a client that's, please help me with this ASAP. And it's an insurance questionnaire, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you do multi-factor authentication in your email? Do you do multi-factor authentication for your network? Do you remote access, right? So she's never asked me about that before, but now she's getting it from her insurance company, and she's like, I need to fill this out ASAP for our insurance, right? So we have to be on top of those things that they don't care about until they care about it, right? Whether or not we brought it up ever before, but now they care about it. So I think part of the commitment is just being the advisor that's going to help them be where they need to be with whatever it is that you sell, right? If you're a dentist and you do the x-ray so that you can tell if people have cavities so that you can fill them before their teeth rot and fall out. Similar in our industry.
Yeah. Big thing is commitment is, I mean, that's, it's a strong word, and it's, in any, whatever, regardless of what your business is, you're really committing to your customer, that you're committing to an overall quality of service that they're going to get with you. And another, hack may be that we're not using this. We have the option to, and we're looking into it, but we're using it with some of our customers are using it, is with, some of the newer VoIP systems. They want faster communication than, let's say, a phone call or an email. They have the ability to text our office number. And somebody will have a real-time chat with you, and so that's another way that you can kind of raise the bar over whether it be competition or if you're bidding on a job, whatever it may be, whatever line of business you're in. But if you have additional ways to strengthen that commitment, I mean, that's another way to do it, and it all ties back to, at least, in the big picture, to technology and how you utilize that technology to better your business and come out on top, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's that texting is a really good example. So, and we again, we're in that very kind of fortunate space where we do get to do a lot of things that are able to improve our clients' commitments to their clients, right? So we, by the nature of what we do, can improve what they do. So having a good IT company is helpful in you providing those or fulfilling commitments to your own clients, right? Like giving your clients a good customer experience, allowing you, if you're a doctor's office, to have access to your medical records if you're a manufacturer, to be able to get to the things, you know, the prints that you need, or the stuff to run your CNC machines, or whatever it is, right? So part of, you know, we can make a plug for our own industry is your IT provider or your IT department is, you know, kind of important and can help you keep those commitments, because we can provide the technology that makes that possible.
Yeah, I don't think we need to justify our existence, right? But it's and more often than not, I get emails. I do from clients regarding whether they heard back from somebody about a vulnerability, or are we patched for this, whether it be on their firewall or workstation. They're asking me, you know, what do we do about this? And there's no better feeling than saying that's already done. We got you. You know what I mean? So just know that, you know, under that umbrella of services, we have that covered, and to say, rather than have to say, oh no, we have to get to that, we'll take care of it. That doesn't show a strong commitment, you know. But we do get those emails though, so it's you know, you got to kind of just keep exceeding, and that's you know, just, you know, advice to live by that we all should follow is just exceed those expectations and keep coming out, and you'll keep coming out on top.
Yep.
I would say it's not only helpful to have a good IT company, but it's paramount. It's past, you know, a maybe. It's required if you want to be successful in business.
Well, you know, so if you think about the Continental Pipeline, what is their commitment, right? Their commitment to their clients was, we will transport fuel, right, through our pipeline. And because they didn't have a solid IT infrastructure that was resilient enough to withstand a ransomware attack and then be quickly recovered, they now have majorly not kept client commitments, right? And obviously pretty much everyone in the country has probably heard about that at this point. So keeping your commitments, back again to that IT thing, that good IT can be kind of integral in helping our clients and business in general keep their commitments to their clients, because if we're doing our job correctly, then they should be able to continue to do their job, which then allows them to, you know, serve their client and continue to have their commitments upheld to their clients.
Yeah, I mean that's a great example, Ryan. Is that pipeline, and it's not necessarily, they may have had. Listen, we all know you can't buy your way out of never getting hacked, right? I mean, there's no money you can have that's going to say you're not going to get hacked because you're doing X, Y, Z. But what you can control is what's your recovery? How fast can you react to it? And maybe they fell short there because I believe they ended up, if I'm not mistaken, I think they paid ransom. Which if you know, I tell all my clients, you'll never have to pay a ransom, right? If you're following this, I'm not going to say you're not going to get breached or hacked or compromised, but we have recovery steps in place, and here's the recovery on these specific incidents if they were to happen, whether it be a complete site failover, whether it be a machine going down, whether it be an email being compromised, whatever it is. We have timelines and objectives for each one of those incidents, and we have that in your incident response plan. That to me is a very either it was executed as per the document, their incident response plan, or they weren't prepared for it. They had this. I'm sure they had a big infrastructure, a big IT team, but somewhere, something failed somewhere, and that'll be addressed.
Yep, but I think it's a really good example of you didn't keep your commitments, not because you didn't want to, but because you didn't plan properly, and because you didn't plan properly, now you have this gigantic disaster that everybody in the country is talking about. The government is talking about, and all the people who couldn't get gas for the last week and a half are definitely talking about. So yeah, I think that keeping your commitments isn't just about calling clients back. It's doing the things that you have to do. Like there's something that pipeline didn't do that led to that, right? Big companies don't necessarily have the best security. We all know that. Sometimes some of our clients have much better security because they're actually being proactive about it and doing the things.
There's no redundancy with a pipeline, right? I mean, you're not going to go and say, you know what, let's turn on the other one and just
right. Yeah,
let's use
the other pipeline.
That's a tough commitment to, and they failed,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So time wise, how are we doing?
I think I don't know. I think I'm good. You guys, we can wrap up. I think we're
yeah. I think that was a pretty successful discussion.
Mhm.
And I think the big takeaway is, yes, commitments are calling them back and being communicative and actually providing your product, but maybe B also is how you organize how you organize your company so that you are resilient, right, and you can continue to serve. So maybe part of that ability to keep your commitment is IT related, but maybe it's also just like a disaster recovery plan, so that we know, hey, if we have something happen, we can continue to keep our commitments to our clients because we have this disaster recovery plan in place. This is what we're going to do if we get hacked, if the office burns down, if the phones stop working, right? We have that disaster recovery plan in place.
And to also keep, we schedule appointments, whether it be quarterly or biannually with all clients, and we say, that's an opportunity for them to listen. Where if we've fallen short, where is it, and we'll fix it. That's also, even though that's a negative, that's still, you're still committed to making things better, right? It's not, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, no business or individual is perfect. There's always room for improvement, and that's one way to build off of any type of negative feedback that you're getting. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah, we just tried to internally discuss. I don't know the next topic, but we'll be here in rain or shine in 2 weeks.
That's right.
Live or not live, we'll be here.
Yeah. Hopefully on time this time.
Exactly.
And,
All right.
Awesome.
Guys.
okay.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Very good.
everybody.
Ryan,
Yeah,
you got to take us off of live.
Bye.